Hello and welcome back, and today I'm very bored, so I'm going to do a few crafts that almost anyone can do when they're bored. So first, I just grabbed some beads that I've had lying around. Some of these are from Dollar Tree, I think some of them are from Michael's, just a giant bin of beads. And then this little kit that I had to make some necklaces or bracelets, and I just used all of them, and I mostly just used my whole bucket of beads to create this first bracelet. So I just played around with the pattern for a little bit, decided what looked best, and I came with 3 pink beads, 1 white bead, 1 pink bead, 1 white bead, 3 pink beads, and then silver beads to kind of end it, to end the pattern and start the next one. And I just kept on going with that all the way around because I thought it looked pretty nice. I switched to without the beads so that you could see my whole bracelet coming along a little bit better, and it's looking really good. And I just was able to put on the last little bit of beads, and then when I was finished, tied it off. And I could have actually done it a little bit more because it was a little bit tight on my wrist, but it still worked pretty good and it looked nice anyway. Then I decided to do a phone charm. So this one, it was a little bit difficult because I wanted to use these blue beads that you see, but I didn't think that they looked really good with the pearl kind of beads, so I just kept on adding a ton of beads, and I don't know how well this one looks in the end. I think it was pretty good to end it, or else I would have just restarted the whole thing, but I don't know. So let me know what you think when you see the end of this, how you like it, because it is a little bit weird, and it took me a minute to be able to even tie it. So I finished it off, and then here it is. Still kind of cute though. The next craft that you can do is creating some stickers. So I have some markers, some sticker paper, and of course some scissors. And if you don't have sticker paper, that's okay. You can either get it at the Dollar Tree or you can make it at home by just cutting out a drawing that you have and covering it with some tape. But make sure to leave some tape on the outside so that you can actually stick it. If you want me to make a video on doing that, that'd be kind of fun, so just tell me. Anyway, I decided to draw something that I never really drawn before, which was a goose. I had to draw off screen because it was a little bit too difficult for me to draw. After I finished off that, I did the beak and the feet, and then cut it out. And I did mess up a few times by touching where the outline was and then touching on the body of the goose, but that was okay because I was able to get rid of those little marks. After I finished off that, I then did something that I, again, don't really do, which is drawing stars perfectly. And again, I couldn't use any pencil because it smudged, so I had to draw it off screen one more time and then fill it in afterwards, as you can tell with this nice little blue. And then after I finished off the blue, I then drew on these little dots. I already drew them on this one that I'm doing right now, but I decided to redraw them because I thought it would look a lot nicer and a lot cleaner and match the second one. After I finished off that, I then went to cutting it out, and then once I finished cutting it out, they were actually pretty good, and they were difficult though to cut out because of how small they were, and I did actually end up messing up that little corner, but I was able to get rid of it later after I finished off all of these crafts. But yeah, here they are. Anyway, I then did my final one, and this one I had planned out from the very beginning. Before I even really decided to make this video, I wanted to make this little sticker, and it was 2 ice cream cones, except one is spilt on the ground. I decided to use this orange because I thought it wouldn't really smudge, and it did, but then it ended up creating actually like a pretty good brown for me, so I just redrew on like the little lines for the cone, and it was also nice too because I made the cone lines too close together, so I was able to fix that up too. For this one, I just wanted it to be a vanilla ice cream cone, so I just did some like gray, silver as little details. Then I used some brown to make a chocolate ice cream, and then another darker brown to create more details. After I finished off that, I cut out the ice cream cone, and it was actually pretty good. I did cut it out a little bit more because I wanted the whole circle to be a little bit less, and here it is, super cute. Here are all my stickers, and I think that it all turned out pretty good. For the last and final craft that you can do is taking your camera roll photos and turning them into paintings. So this is the first photo that I have, as you can tell, and I just started with taking every single color except for purple and the rainbow and coloring on the sunset sky. And this was actually pretty easy, but then I decided to use these paint markers almost. And I've used these before as paintbrushes in one of my other videos. Way towards the very beginning, it's painting green things, I think is what it's called. And I use them as paintbrushes, but they don't really look nice whenever they are painted on because they don't blend. Anyway, I did a little bit of an outline so that I'd be able to tell what I didn't need to color with blue. I just started with the water. And I just tried to create a bunch of little different textures in the water, like how the photo is. Got it pretty good. And then I just painted on the little skyline and then did the trees. And I decided to use this like color pencil, and it didn't really work out too well, so I had to use like a Sharpie. And here's how it is. Looks pretty good. I had to skip a page because it accidentally bled through. And here is my second photo I'm going to recreate. It is this nice city skyline. And this one I actually didn't get too accurately done because I ended up actually not using a quarter of this photo. But that is okay because it's just meant to be fun anyway. I use these paint pens again, and I actually like using them a lot more for detail that you're going to use a lot of things to cover it with, because in the end this one actually turned out really good. And I think it was just because I layered a lot of blues and grays and blacks, and it all looked really nice kind of put together in the end. And I did a lot of work on the skyline, kind of to ruin it with this dawning that I did for the clouds. Anyway, I was able to kind of save it, and it actually does look pretty good. And here it is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these videos. I would love to do them again, and I'll see you next week. Bye!